Yeah, welcome, Guido. Before the fall of the wall, you were a horse race track keeper, a steel worker, and a cook, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Then you've been studying business psychology at Humboldt University in Berlin, and you have been working in customer and employee experience during like 25 years at companies such as Daimler and Deutsche Telekom. That's also where we had the chance to work together in the past. And you've developed the 77 human needs system as a key to understand human experiences. And in 2016, you founded the experience and innovation consultancy DE3P, a company for the application and distribution of the 77 human needs system. And this is what you are showing us today. In your talk, Understand, Design and Measure Human Experiences with the 77 Human Needs System.
Okay.
So looking forward to it. Stage is yours.
Nope. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I don't need to press anything. That's great. Thank you very much. This is a test. If you call the company DE3P, or if you call it DEEP. Because but no, thank you very much for this introduction. I love it. And yeah, I decided to start my presentation. I changed my starting slide a little bit because, just to surprise some people, but on the other hand, because when I heard that we will have Memex and 25 years of I², so I start with the congratulations in the beginning. So, first time Michael and me met was in Berlin on a rooftop in Prenzlauer Berg. I guess Stargarder Straße. Yeah? Stargarder Straße. And Michael found out that it has to be before 1995 because the rooftops were closed then. And we had a breakfast there with some students from Humboldt University, Technical University, where Michael has studied. This is where we met. So I would say somehow we're generation zero, if this would be possible. Yeah. And we satisfied our needs. It was a great experience. And when I talk about experience, what I always love to do is somehow to set up a kind of thinking that is everyone also asking why is a good question. Why is a good question? We know 5 times why. We know something. Because if you really do this, if you really ask why, for instance, why young people sit on a rooftop, or why little kids jump into a puddle, totally normal behavior. You will always find an answer if you do some good research, and the answer will always be a few needs, mostly more than one. But before we talk about human needs, I want you to wake up a little bit, and we have a kind of interactive part, which I always do when I run workshops in companies or wherever, especially when people come from lunch or even in the morning, just to get a little short introduction into the world of human needs. What does it mean when we talk about needs? What is a need? Yeah, so everyone knows Maslow. Who knows all the needs? No, even not me. But and for this exercise, you all need to stand up and go to this table there, where the white plane, Decke? Tischdecke is. And Emily, be so kind, and maybe you can remove it. This white thing there. So you will see some cards. And the task is, everyone, the faster the better, goes to the table, had 1 minute time to decide which card do you like. And every card stands for a need. There are 77. If we are more than 77, we have also a digital option. The cards are in German. I need to excuse myself for this, but we have the English version on the computer. So if you don't understand German, please come here to our computer and you can have a look. The advantage is that you are not limited. Okay, so you can just, so normally 1 minute, but of course, because of the logistic, we will need some more, I guess. So, of course, you don't have the time to read everything. Just have a short glance and then say, okay, this somehow speaks to me. So if you like, you can keep your card or you can bring it back to us, as you like. It's in the moment you need it for this exercise. Okay, works well. So. Technology is great. Okay. So now nearly everyone has grabbed the need. That's cool. And now comes the second part of the exercise. Please choose one partner or maybe two and just exchange a few sentences why you have chosen this one. This will be noisy, of course, but we try it out. Sometimes we do it like a talk if you have time, but we don't have time here. That's why. Please choose someone to talk to, maybe your neighbor, and exchange why you have chosen this one. And we have 3 minutes for this. Ich brauche eine Uhrzeit.
Zeit?
Time.
Hast du? Okay. 15:05.
2 minutes.
Wie lange soll das gehen?
2. Noise, and now please fade out, because Karina told me that she has to keep her kids at 3:30. That was unfair. We started late. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you switch again, please, to... Okay, thank you very much. This is a little exercise. We start especially in a room where people meet, team meetings, or especially it works very well if people come with a special, from different teams, and they have their agenda in mind. Their bosses told them something, hey, try out to, our team needs to have this and then, because everyone is grounded a little bit after this, and we talk about human relationship, human work, and not about I have this interest and I have this hidden agenda and so on. And as long we have the shortest duration, we have this exercise is 5 minutes. This is what we did here. But even when we have 30 minutes time, people always come back from running around talking to each other and say, oh, that was nice, but too short. It doesn't matter how long it is. So it's a very good opener for workshops and so on. So just keep in mind. Oops. Yeah. I already addressed the little kid jumping into a puddle. Everyone loves to jump into a puddle, said Pepper Woods. And all kids agree, I guess. But why we are doing this? And this why question, if you ask it a lot of time and meaningful, then you find out, for instance, here in this example, the interviewing a kid is not so easy, of course, but you will find out that it will tell you something, there's water's coming up, it's sparkling, and there's some kind of noise, and I like to feel when I'm going down to earth. And this is about sensorical sensations. And these sensorical sensations, there's something behind this. And this is the need for feedback. Because in the age of this kid, even a little bit younger, you need to learn that you can somehow control the environment. And to do this, you need feedback. I do something, something happens. And I jump to this puddle, something comes up, and this looks great, by the way. So, if you have kids or remember when they were small, all kids love to press the button for the light, switch on the light, on and off, when they are high enough to reach it. Bam, bam, they can do this for hours. We found it funny for the first 3 times, and then after this, okay, so what is good for? This is feedback. Feedback needs to be fast. So if you have a very slow light, this is not so funny, but if you do something hard, this gives the kid the power. Feedback is important not only as a kid, of course. We are working not only with customer research, also with our employee experience, and feedback is, for instance, very important. If you interact with a system, everyone knows this if you work in UX, but also, of course, for creating a great employee experience. 1 time a year, feedback, talk. It's a little bit late, so feedback needs to be fast. Emotion is king. Normally this will move, but it is not moving here. So, okay. Imagine you have some funny kids laughing, and so. Human experience. Can I go back with this? No? Yeah. I can. I found it out. Human experience. What is it? Because human experience is our topic. And I guess most of you have thought about what human experience is. I made my own thoughts, and I want to share it with you. Doesn't mean that these are the right definition, but we work very, very successfully with it. What is experience? Good question. In my opinion, experience is always a product of an interaction of a human with an environment. And it starts with what we need. Our needs, here they are again. And the needs in my opinion, we have a set of needs which is given us by nature. It's a kind of genetic thing. Because the needs are there, we have them. They remind us to what we need, that we need to do something to unfold our whole potential. If we would stop eating, we would die. All the evolution effort would be for nothing. We would stop being curious. We would verblöden in German, I don't know the English word for this. We would become stupid. And of course, this would not be helpful for humankind. And so you can, in every need, you can ask, what would be if we would skip this from our needs inventory? This was one of the methodical ways how I created this system. Genetics, our learning history, and the context are important to understand which needs are actually active in us. Because we have this, for instance, 77, or if you love Maslow, then 36, whatever, needs, we have them, everyone has them. We differ in the amount how active they are in us. In strong contexts, everyone has the same need, in the church, for instance. In very open contexts, leisure time, for instance, we have more variancy in behavior because different needs can be active. Okay, this is a human side, what we need. And then we compare what we get, human environment. And what we get are typically product services, somehow brand information, marketing. This is why we are all here. We are doing this. This is something where people work, what we can create, where we want to create great experiences. But if we only do this without looking at the left side, we will fail. And from this comparison, which all the time happens in our brain, because it's very complex, and we assume 77 needs, plus or minus 10% maybe, then our brain has to do a lot of things. So this is mostly unconscious, of course. That makes it hard to measure, but we are here at I2, and we know that it's possible. This comparison of what we need and what we get leads to 3 important outcomes. The first one, and this, in my opinion, is the most important, is the emotion. The second one is cognition, but not so often. And what is very close to emotion is the motivation. What behavior do we want to show? If I'm a kid and I'm jumping a puddle and that's great, I do it again. Yeah. 3 kinds of motivations: love it, leave it, change it. Simply said, if you love it, you do it again. You want to have a product, you want to watch an ad, you stay with your behavior. If you don't like it, if your needs are not fulfilled, you leave it. Yeah, it's not a good thing. Therefore, in my life, for instance, there are some shops when I'm going to a shopping mall, what seldom happens. When I'm going there, and there are some markets where they sell smells and so on. I don't want to address special ones. So I always need to have some kind I need to work around this, because my need for smelling, which is also a need, we will see, is hurt very badly. And if it's they always think, oh, the poor employees. But this is leaving. And then there's also the option that maybe I like it, a little bit, needs are satisfied, but not perfect, then I change somehow. For instance, I could open the window if it's too warm here, for instance, like that. So now let's talk about the 77 human needs. 77 is a number, it's a good number. It's easy to, when I started this project, there were 64, 89, whatever, and in the end, it somehow, it ended with 77. What is it? It's a kind of Maslow 3.0. And more needs in it. If it's good or bad, I don't know, but more needs in it. Of course, I'm convinced that it's good. They are better described because you find a lot of needs theories out there. Some people say we have 5 important, 7 or 12. Mathematically, that makes sense. If you do some factorial analysis, you can do this. But you can't describe a human with this, or you can't describe a meadow with flowers. The same, we have 5 types of flowers, so this is a little bit less. That's why I love being a little bit more concrete. And there's no pyramid. This is important. There's no hierarchy. Every need can be addressed at any time due to our learning experience or due to marketing or whatever, to context where we are in. 77, of course, is a large number. And I always see the people, oh God, I'm afraid. 77, it's not possible to deal with it. Right, that's right. You cannot deal with 77 human needs if we do research or if we use them for creating products and measure the success. First thing is, humans are complex. That's why we have 77. That's good. That makes our life rich. And this next step is what we need to do is to reduce the amount of needs which are important in a special context. And we do this in every project that we have. There are some complex projects, for instance, smart home, because we are, all our needs somehow, we want to satisfy them somehow at home. Or even creating work 2.0, new work is also very complex. But if we talk about something like skincare, then we can become much more concrete. Usually we have 6 to 12 needs which are addressed. And these are the 77 overall. Okay, so enjoy your kids. I'm sorry. I said to her, when she told me I need to leave 3:30, I thought, we will never, ever come to this point. So here we are. So this is at a glance. So 77 human needs. A lot, of course, I know. And even me, I don't know any. Not every time you can wake me up and say, okay, 46, what is it? I also have to look. Just like Maslow, we have a kind of categorization here. Otherwise, there are different kind of needs. That's why it makes sense. And otherwise, you would not find the need you want because it's too complex. First, we have physical needs because we are biological beings. That's easy, I guess. So that's why I'm jumping over it. Sleeping is an example. For instance, sleeping is a card which always goes first when we have this exercise. Then we have sensual needs. You will not find that so often in needs typologies. But as I said in the beginning, the sensual needs are worked that way. Our sensual needs want to be satisfied properly. If we hear something that's noisy and we don't like it, so we go away. It's very easy. You will never sell a product if it stinks. Yeah. So maybe some cheese, but I think nothing special. We have 9 sensual needs. Maybe this is surprising a little bit. We have grown up with 6 or 5 or whatever. There are some more senses, but we don't have the time to discuss this. If you're interested in this, we can talk later. Hearing is somehow common as example. This is the biggest group of needs, actual needs. Also, this is a very interesting category because these needs are grouped together because we have them to act meaningful in our environment. And this is the biggest evolutionary advantage that we have. We can change our environment. We can be more successful than animals in surviving, for instance, if we use it properly, of course. It starts with curiosity. If we would not be curious anymore, everything would stop. And there's some stuff like feedback, which I addressed in the beginning, control, thinking, fantasy, creativity. And for instance, you can ask the question, fantasy and creativity, is it not similar? Maybe it could be one need. Maybe, we can discuss this, but I decided to include this both because there are some differences, especially in the emotional part of the experience. Fantasy only happens in your mind, which is, it can be great. Fantasizing is very great. And if you become creative, you add some action to it. You do something. And this is an emotional difference in how you experience this kind of situation. And that's why we have two different needs here. Another example, would not task for you, find a visualization of creativity. Ask the AI and you will be disappointed. But if you ask the internet, Google creativity picture, you will find 95% of the pictures are Glühlampe. What is a Glühbirne in English? Light bulb. This is creativity. Wow, super creative. Yeah. Or you find some people putting their hands together. This the other 5%. So that's why I decided 5 years ago when I briefed our illustrator from Croatia in Zagreb that she should paint such a picture, some robots, and I found it very provocative. This is really a challenge. No one will understand this picture, or at least people will hate it because machines and creativity we don't have it together now. Okay, times are fast. No one. It's not any kind of surprise anymore. Then we have social needs, and this is a good example to just explain why we have so many needs. Because of course you can say we have this social being. Maslow had this also. It's of course important. You can say belonging. Belonging is a social need. That's right. But it's emotionally a total difference. And if you produce products and services or you make advertisement, it's a complete difference if you talk about a relationship like friendship, about love, or about a family. It's totally different emotional. And that's why you need to address it differently. And we act differently in this context. And that's why we have so many needs. Social needs are often have both sides. So depending on your position. For instance, helping and getting help, also a good example. We need helping, we need this need. Otherwise, if we would not be social and helping, humankind would not survive, I would guess. And if you help someone, how do you feel? Feels somehow good. I've done the right thing, I'm proud of myself. It's good, it's a good feeling. If you're getting help, totally different feeling. First, you need to ask for it, maybe. Or you need to show somehow that you need help. Maybe I'm German, I'm not so open for getting help, so maybe I'm depending on these people after this. And if you get help, you are thankful and everything is good. But it's a totally different emotional world here. By the way, when I had my first appearance at Memex, I think it was Memex 5, my talk was Touchpoint Soul, because you addressed the soul this morning, yeah, right? This emotion is somehow part of our soul. Respect is one of the most important social needs. You can live without love, it's not funny. You can live without friendship, it's hard. But live without respect is impossible. So you will not survive very long. Your needs. This is what Maslow called transcendental needs. So here are our values put together, and maybe you know some value theories, approaches, all important. Starts with self-realization and ends with meaning. And my private, most beloved need is 76, livability. This need describes our need for feeling alive. And it helps you a lot to have joy in your life. If you say, okay, maybe I hurt my finger yesterday when I built at my house. I don't like this, but I feel something. I'm alive. And if you know Hornbach-Werbung from German Baumarkt, they excellently, from Heimat, is it from the agency Heimat, they excellently address this need. Niemand fühlt es so wie du. No one feels it like you do if you do something. This feeling is, and yeah. That's why I go barefoot, by the way. Some people ask me, because I feel more. This is more sensoric input, and I like it. Performance is also human need. Talk to HR people or managers, they will be surprised. Huh? People want to perform? Normally I think, how can I bring to performance here? And maybe I give some other stuff like bicycle or a BVG ticket or whatever. So, but people come to a company and they want to perform, and it's about creating culture that allows them to perform. And very often they're hindered. And this is what we are doing, for instance, in companies, creating culture where people can satisfy their natural given performance, need for performance. So, knowing about needs is great, but knowing how to use it is bigger and better. So there's a value chain where you can use, and not depending on 77 needs or whatever, you can use needs in different positions in the value chain, starting with understanding the research part, which is most important and the biggest benefit is here, I guess. Then in the creation, for instance, if you have found out, we had, for instance, I'll show you some example later. Then it comes to creation. If you have understood, this need is important, of course, you can create directly to satisfy this need. You can test it when we talk about measurement. You can create experience KPIs. This is a very important step in when we run projects. Everyone knows about business KPIs. You need to fulfill them, of course. But before every business KPI somehow is reached, there's always an experience before. Without an experience, you cannot reach business KPIs. And the interesting thing is to find out what kind of experience I need to create that people press a button, buy something, whatever, want to have more. And this is what we directly derive from our research as experience KPIs. So you can describe them and ask if you have reached them or not, even in prototyping. Then if we sell something, communication and marketing, of course we do this very often, write briefings for marketing agencies. So I'm not good in marketing. I'm not a good storyteller in kind of marketing needs it, but I can give the people the briefing. The art of creation of content is something that needs an input, of course, in the beginning. Then when the product is out there in the market, then we can learn how competitors satisfy this need, how good we are in it, and finally close the loop. This is the Tolino Michael addressed in the beginning when we talked to each other. One of my love projects, honestly, it's 10 years ago, I need a new one fast. But this is a project where we had the chance to walk through this value chain from the beginning to the end. And this is a very old picture, the first generation of Tolino. It comes out 2004, I guess, 2004. At this time, Amazon Kindle was clear. No one could. The whole German ebook market was close to death because Amazon was so strong. And then the German book companies came to Deutsche Telekom, where I worked at this time, and asked us, can we create a new German ecosystem for ebooks? And okay, maybe we need an e-reader, yes. And then you need a lot of stuff, this content, brand marketing, and so on. What we found out in our research phase was 2/3 of all book buyers in German stores were female. And the Kindle, for instance, was at this time, if you do a little bit benchmarking, the proposition was, if you have a Kindle, you're smarter than others. You get information faster. New York Times were used, for instance, to communicate this. That, okay, all these women who are coming in our bookstores, they don't want to be smarter or better than something. Performance was not the need. It was about, when it comes to reading, it was about fantasy. It was about relationship, belonging, so on. And that's why we created this type of e-reader, which was, in the end, and I don't have the time to discuss it in detail. If there's questions, hit on me. And I guess 18 months after it came out, Tolino overtook the market leadership and sold ebooks from Amazon in Germany. And I guess this that never happened in any country before. And I don't know if it happens after this. So it was also a very big business success. This is another example. We created personas for sustainable houses, so energy self-supply, but I'm just jumping a little bit over and okay, you can think of a project we did with Umweltbundesamt, the governmental environmental organization, because 3-4 years ago they were not happy how Germans buy electric cars, nearly zero, and the question was, what is the problem? Why so many German people love to drive with their fuel-driven car? So why they love it? And you can think to yourself, why? Maybe yes, the loading infrastructure was not so bad, but that was not important. Was not a reason. We had two needs which were heard by electric cars. First thing was, this is one of my, because I drive because I'm good at it. I drive because I can. Competency is a need. And if you ask drivers, do you think you're a good driver or not? Normally you don't need to ask because people tell you. Of course I'm a good driver. This is an idiot, but I don't sound. This is always when people drive, they have the feeling, yes, I'm competent, normally, except some critical situations. But even then, I did it very well. So, and people love to do where they're competent in. This is why it's hard to change behavior. So, we asked not only for electric cars, also for public transport and so on. That's why it was very, the car driver said, I don't use public transport. So this is, if you have a questionnaire, so you don't find out this. You need to go deeper into the soul of the people. And the second one, this was very important, was respect. Because at this time, and even now, every company or every organization told their own story. What is better? Electric car, diesel car, benzene car? And everyone has his argumentation. And the people felt somehow, everyone told me what he wants to tell me. So I'm not respected anymore. I'm just like a stupid idiot. Everyone tells me his lies. And that's why people said, go away. Some people don't want to talk with us because they, from Umweltbundesamt, go away. We know the stuff, so don't leave me alone. I want to drive my car. Because, and respect is a very, very hard thing. So that's why we suggested to Umweltbundesamt at this time, don't create a new campaign, because people will not listen to it. As long as you talk only from one perspective. You need to include the whole argumentation. Okay, so also a nice project from the beginning of this year. I love these projects when it's become very, very concrete. And if you are a company caring about hair and you have a new color, and say, so, and then the marketing department asked us, so we don't know what to do. I said, okay, just ask the people why they want to be blonde. What does it mean to be blonde? Of course, I'm an expert in it, and so psychologists very often do things where they have no idea about it. And it was a very big interview. We only needed 12 people to find it out. I can't show all the results, but one thing is possible. This is what I really, really loved, is what it means to me to be blonde. Being blonde for me means forever summer. Blonde is light. I'm a shiny person. Also I'm the light. I have the energy. I'm positive. Everyone should see this. This is, of course, one aspect. We had 4 or 5 in the end. And this was a very nice result, which was need for self-congruence. I want to show what I am with my hair color. So, because I'm a positive person, everyone should see it. And don't care if you have black hair, doesn't matter. There's also some good needs behind it. Okay, this is a little bit too complex, I guess. We have how much time do we have? So where we are? Moderator, please give me.
We're a little bit over time.
Okay. Okay, last example. This is from Deutsche Telekom, because they included, we have learned about new technologies today. They included a lot of virtual reality in the shops to demonstrate, this is also 2 years ago, I guess, to demonstrate how powerful 5G is. That you can use virtual reality stuff with 5G. Of course, there's a selling proposition behind. The problem was no one in the shop tried it out. The question was why? Why no one is using our cool virtual reality stuff? And then we did some shop visits, some research, some interviews. It was easy to find out that a situation where you want to try out something that is very close to playing. Because playing, and this you will find this at the card in the description, playing is showing a behavior in a safe environment and trying out a behavior in a safe environment. And this is characteristic for playing. And every playing, what kids doing, hide and seek, running, social role play, is all stuff which you need in your life later. It's very important. The lion could not catch you, so you need to run fast. This is something you can develop and train in safe environment because your parents looking at us, everything fine, so don't climb too high. And this safety aspect in playing was not very good satisfied in the shop because there were the virtual reality touch point and you should stand. At first you need to know how it works. Many people don't know. 3 years ago, and I think it's even now. What do I need to press? And then you look like an idiot if you're in the room and somehow changing and people say, what this crazy guy is doing? It was not a safe environment at all. And this was the point. And so we looked at some other retail shops, how they handle it, and we found very good examples, for instance, in fast-moving consumer goods and such stuff like this here, rituals, for instance. You can try out stuff there. But with a sign, there's a washing basin. And there's a handkerchief. You are safe because, what I do, I can remove, I can go out, nothing happens, no harm. Okay, and people use this. They try it out. Even if it's in the middle of the room. But it works. So, nearly one year ago, we had also an own conference called Human Experience and Beyond. And one output of this conference I was a little bit lazy, would be some new paradigms for the human experience of the future. Because we talk about human experience today and we talk about AI and all this stuff. So that's yesterday in the evening, I thought, okay, now I need to fix some ideas of this. Bottle of wine helps. And I just want to give you as a final food for thought. It's not done completely, but some tries. Okay, the experience of the future is the experience of the moment. This is what I'm very convinced that it is about livability, my most beloved need, because AI will do a lot of things better than we are. What is our unique thing is the moment. We're going back. We take the guitar and play a song. Maybe we are not good at it. AI is better at it, but it's the moment. We enjoy this. This is the important thing. Digital becomes better than analog, becomes better than digital. I need to think over what I meant with this, but it sounds great. I will find an explanation for sure. I have it in my book. We become more us. This is what I think is very... we will find a way more to be ourselves. Maybe you know this quote. I really like this quote. I need to think from this. If machines are becoming better in being machines, we need to become better in being humans. I love this one. And this is something very closely related to this. Past becomes our future. Tradition is a shortcut. I love this. It was originally said by a musician from Austria, a violinist. Tradition is a shortcut because he's playing classical music, but also modern music. So we will find a lot of inspiration in the past because we have a long evolutionary history. AI not. And we will need this space and this look back, for instance, sitting by the campfire. So it's a very old thing. It's great. We need to do this more often than people do it. Circle becomes the new growth is addressed to circular economy and everything what is related to thinking more organic. Okay, with this, I want to leave you alone. If you want to stay in contact, please, here are the data. The presentation will be shared or not? Yeah, so you will find it then. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, thank you, Guido, for this very interesting presentation and also for fulfilling our needs for hearing, inspiration, and curiosity.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe there's more. Yeah, as I said, we collected a little bit of overtime already, so maybe let's keep it short for the Q&A, but I think we can do like 1 or 2 quick questions from the audience, if there are some. who has a question. Yes, here in the third row.
Dankeschön. Thank you very much. I didn't have the chance to check out all your needs that were listed, but did I miss something around humor, laughter, lightheartedness, or is that not a
Interesting.
need?
That's interesting. Yeah, this is about the question, what is a need? Laughing, for instance, is an emotional-driven response. And this is something, very often when we ask people why you're doing this, because it's fun. Yes, okay, it's fun, but fun is the outcome, and then we want to understand what is the fun? Why is there's so many different fun? And our language is, for instance, not well prepared to talk about emotions. So if you think about waking up in the morning, and there's Sunday, you don't need to stand up, the sunlight outside, and someone has made a coffee for you, and you smell this. It's a complex situation, find an emotion word for this, so it's not easy to understand. That's why we love culture, literature, paintings, lyrics, and so on, because this expresses emotions, which we cannot say here. So when it comes to humor, interesting, yeah, humor, is it a need or not? So I think if you want to explain behavior, then you can explain a lot with needs. And then is there some other stuff, which is how our cognitive and emotional stuff is operating. And humor is a kind of intellectual way to, or emotional way to talk about the world. I don't think that it is really a need. You fulfill some needs with humor. This is a good question, because whenever we had a question like that, you can think, okay, is humor standing on its own, or is it good for something? And there would be a why level behind, I would say. Because if you're a humor person who's good in humor, everyone loves people who are good at humor. So you're somehow, you are belonging.
It's not for Germans.
Yeah, because it's so seldom. So then you have status also. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Thank you. Okay, yeah, I had to cut it short, but it seems like most questions are answered. Many thanks for you.